Did a live stream a couple weeks ago where I talked about my story about working in a deli when I was living in Denver before I moved to Atlanta. And at the end of the story, I talked about when I got here, the second day I lived here, I went and met these two guys that were in a band called Thing One, Thing Two at a club called the Dark Horse. Tim Smith, who played bass in Jellyfish, and Rob Aldridge. The next day, they invited me to play on a recording. I didn't realize this was actually going to be on a record. But I went over to Rob's house, brought my guitar, plugged in, and played on this song. And he lived with his girlfriend, Laura Lee, at the time. And Rob was such an engaging character. He was really, really very funny. I mean, just larger than life guy. And he had been in a band called Holly Faith that was on Epic Records that I knew of from the late 80s. They were a huge band in Atlanta before I moved to town, but I knew of the band because they used to tour during that era, right when I was starting to play music in the late 80s, early 90s. Anyway, so throughout the years, Rob and I ended up moving in with him and his girlfriend at the time, Laura Lee. I rented a room in the upstairs there. And then a couple years later, after my band Billionaire had gotten signed, Rob and I had a house together. He lived in the basement and I lived in the upstairs, where we ended up doing a bunch of our recording for my band Billionaire. And frankly, when I started producing bands, I would bring stuff back to the house because I didn't have a studio to work in, and I would do overdubs there. And Rob was living there. And he owned a restaurant called Rockin' Rob's. It was a barbecue place that our singer Mark and our drummer Darren from my band Billionaire worked at. They were both waiters there, right? So Rob would always have these funny schemes. Like one of them would be, hey, I got this gig up in Buckhead. Buckhead's an area town in Atlanta here. And it's a Christmas gig. We're going to do all Christmas songs. And but I'm going to wear a Superman outfit. and we're going to call it Superman Sings the Hits. I was like, okay. What do you mean you got a Superman outfit? You know, one with all the muscles. Everything. Rob's got this long blonde hair and he's wearing the Superman. So anyways, we get together for rehearsal and he's wearing the Superman costume. And I was like, Rob, why aren't you just going to wait for the gig? No, I just wanted to just see how it fits and everything. So I'm like, all right. I mean, Rob was insanely funny. The funniest guy I ever met. So he says, so we start practicing the songs. We're doing Jingle Bells and Silent Night and all this stuff. So we go to this gig. I invite my friends down. He invites his friends down to this club. And we start playing. So he's up there in the Superman outfit with the fake muscles and everything, and I'm just playing guitar, and we're playing along. He's not playing anything, and we're playing, Silent Night, we're playing this, then we're playing Jingle Bells. And while we're playing Jingle Bells, the people are all into it. The owner of the club comes walking up on stage, and he says, he just talks to us as if we're not on stage playing a song. And he goes, I thought you guys were going to play covers. And Rob goes, what are you talking about? We didn't write these songs. We didn't write these songs. So anyways, he goes, well, I want you guys to take a break. So we finish the song and we take a break. And I walked out to this table out of my friend Mark Richardson and his wife were there. Mark is a dear friend of mine that passed away in the early 2000s. Great engineer. So Mark and Gene and his wife are saying, what's going on? And I said, I have no idea. This guy came up to me, the owner of the club, and he's telling us that I thought you were going to play covers. And Rob said, what are you talking about? We didn't write these songs. We didn't write Jingle Bells and Silent Night and O Come O You Faithful, right? So anyways, Rob is pulled aside with the owner, and I can see them talking. They kind of having this heated discussion. And all of a sudden, Rob comes walking back over like this, and the club's packed, and Rob's wearing the Superman suit with the fake muscles. And he goes, the gig's over. I said, what's going on? He goes, well, the guy paid us to stop playing. I said, what? He's like, yeah. he said this isn't what he expected. He expected a cover band. And I once again explained to him that we're not playing covers. We didn't write these Christmas songs. But he paid us to stop. I mean, the only gig I've ever had where I was paid to stop playing. So Rob was kind of dejected there and after this rehearsal. And the fact that he spent all this money on the Superman costume. I mean, that was the thing. He's like, man, what am I going to do with this thing? And I said, Halloween's next October. You can always wear that. So, anyway, so last time I saw Rob was probably, probably 7-8 years ago or so. We keep in touch. He lives in town in Atlanta here and everything. And I really, anytime I would see him, he was always the most fun person, the life of the party, just an incredibly, hysterically funny human being. Super talented singer. That was the thing. Rob had this amazing voice, just beautiful. And he and Tim Smith had their band, Uma Jets, that I played in. We did a record. And we did a record that Roger Manning from Jellyfish actually produced and played on. And that was the first band I played in Atlanta. And the record is actually on Spotify. And just look up Uma Jets, Umajets. Rob passed away just a few days ago. I got the word from, I just started getting texts from friends of mine, just out of the blue. I knew Rob had been sick with diabetes for a long time. And he was 55 or 56 years old. His eyesight had been failing, I knew, but I hadn't seen him in years and years and years. And so I wanted to say something about Rob, just this incredible force. I mean, a guy that I lived with twice. You know, he was a dear friend of mine. I played in bands with him. He had this restaurant that the guys in my band worked at. He was the owner, making barbecue every day and talking to the customers, and was this just incredibly warm, hilarious person. And Rob had his demons. He did. I mean, this wasn't an unexpected thing, Rob's passing. But I don't want to focus on those. And I wanted to play a song from the Uma Jets record. It's really tough for me to talk about. I just want to play it. And it's called Weary Eyes. And Rob sings the first part, and then Tim and Rob harmonize together. But it's beautiful. This was always one of my favorite songs to play. This is Rob here.
Well, I noticed you noticing me. I didn't want you to notice me first, notice you. So why do you look strange when you see me? Is it the emptiness inside that you hide?
Oh, man.
My weary eyes can't believe all the circles and squares we leave. Oh God, am I falling to pieces? We had so much time, for patience, waiting forever, eternity's only a word, and love's been forever to find eternity.
Beautiful.
Oh God, am I falling
Love it.
to pieces? Drinking all the rain
that's Tim Smith there.
Gasoline, fueling our emptiness, apathy parading.
They had such different voices, and they just blended so well together.
Sing to me in masquerade. My weary eyes can't believe all the circles and squares we weave. Oh God, am I falling to pieces?
Beautiful. Man. So, this was the first band that I played in when I moved to Atlanta for 2 years. And the record's great. It's a really great record. It was made over time. Some of the tracks were done. There's 16 tracks on it, and it's on Spotify, and I encourage you to go check it out. But I wanted to make a video about Rob because he was a really special person, larger than life. Oh, there it is. Thanks for watching.